Hi, welcome to the walkthrough and commentary for Murder House. This is JT Maximus here, and this is a really interesting retro game. It has the vibe of, I want to say, the PS1 Clock Tower, for the very first Clock Tower game to be released internationally. Except that while that game has a Giallo vibe, heavily inspired by Dario Argento, this game is pure American 80s slasher. So, it has a different genre, a different vibe there, but it carries some of that same creepy run and hide vibe that Clock Tower had, and it inspired feelings in me that I hadn't really felt while playing a game quite the same way since I was a 12-year-old playing Clock Tower for the first time. So anyway, so here we have the settings menu, and we have several options here we can choose from. Now, I actually like a crisp, clean, just the regular video, but there are these effects you can cycle through in the CRT and in the video. I just don't do any of them. You also have first-person point of view with the camera as a possibility, but I like the kind of semi-fixed camera view that takes us back to that retro survival horror quality. So we pick a new game. You can either go to the prologue or go straight to the main story. Prologue gives more backstory, just a little bit, and why not? It's more game. So it's also where you would have to start if you want to get the bookworm achievement for reading all the files. So
okay, kid, you're next.
So here we go. Look at that Easter Bunny costume. It's really kind of creepy. I mean, more than kind of. Which is the point of the game, I guess. But still, it's like, who thought that that would
Come
be
on,
a good
kid,
Easter
get
Bunny
your ass up
costume?
there.
It doesn't look jovial or joyful in any way. Just with its deep black holes of
kid.
eyes and... yeah.
Say cheese.
1985 is when this takes place. Now you'll want to pay attention to that. Alright, so falling asleep in a photo booth, is that even... I know other people have commented on the fact that that doesn't seem likely, but anyway. So we walk out of the photo booth, and his mother seems to have left him in the mall alone, I guess. It was a different time, the 80s, so maybe that was more likely than now. But anyway, you can check the door, but it's locked. Look at that picture of the kid. That is definitely not a kid that's the age that this little kid is supposed to be. You will hear his voice later. He's definitely a little kid, and yet his picture looks like, at the very youngest, it would be maybe 14, you know, but there's his mullet, because it's the 80s, so of course he has his mullet. So now let's just go on through the mall here. Others have mentioned, and I noticed this the first time I played it, which was without... I first played it without watching anybody else play it or anything. And what I noticed, very similarly to how they noticed it, is that there's a strong Silent Hill feel to this part of the game. The music, the atmosphere, really. It's very similar, and it's not only, in my opinion, because Silent Hill 3 takes place in a mall, and there's a mall section, a brief mall section in Silent Hill 1. It just has this strong feeling of it. But anyway, so here I've been running around here just showing that the doors are locked and everything, and just to get a sense of realism a little bit, you know, little kid running around seeing what's what. But we'll come to this gate, and he'll comment on how it looks like he can crawl under it. So if you press the action key again, then he'll do that. Now, one thing that may be relevant is that when I played this, I played it with a PS4 controller. So a lot of the buttons and everything, I'm not necessarily sure what they default to on the keyboard. Some of it might say, but sometimes it says something like just the action key, which for me is just the PS4 X button and stuff like that. So anyway, here we are at that opening scene, the same place where the very opening scene was with the photos. So make our way up there. Ah, dramatic irony, because we can see that, but the little kid is too short to see over that, so we're seeing something he can't. He really doesn't know. Poor kid. See, he's too short to see over that, so... tension. And now he's gone. I was so scared to go that way the first time I played the game because I thought he might be there. Okay, so we have this locked security gate. Nowhere to go but down the other hall. Now we have these missing person posters, and it is necessary to read every one of them that's in this mall in order to get the bookworm achievement. So, Mildred Armstrong. We found the key here, so that's one of those cases where it tells you what the inventory key would be on the computer. Another missing person poster. Do read it for the sake of getting the achievement later. Randy Martinez. Now that's kind of an important name for the backstory. We'll hear that name come up again later. So we can try this. Being realistic, you would probably try that key, but it doesn't work, so. Run, run, run. Enjoy being able to run as long as you want while you can, because in the main game, that's not gonna be possible. Alright, so let's go to this security gate and use the key here. Well, that crescendo of music and everything, it just really adds to the mood. Pay attention to the corner at the right. Did you see that? Slipping right around the corner there? Very quick. A bunch of creepy mannequins. Why aren't they dressed? It's closed like everything else in this mall. It's always weird. I I think this might actually happen in real life, but it's always weird when these things are locked in such a way so that you could be trapped in. I just kind of think that's weird. Like, is this... I've never been locked in a mall. Would this really happen to where you couldn't get out if you were in the inside? So, all right, another missing person poster. Let's read it. Daniel Gray. A couple of kids here on this one, so a lot of kids went missing here. Now, if you'll notice, the missing person posters seem to indicate that this story takes place in Monroe, Michigan, which is a real place, actually. And since another Puppet Combo game, The Babysitter Massacre, I think, takes place in Monroe as well, I have to wonder if that's where the guy behind Puppet Combo lives. I don't know, but it's just interesting. So let's make sure to look at this so that we can kick off the achievement. Daniel Gray again. This time it was a duplicate. And yet another one of Randy Martinez. But even though these are duplicates, it was important to read them because it wouldn't kick off the achievement otherwise. So, and again, Randy Martinez, important to the backstory. Not important for beating the game. It doesn't come into play in the main story, but it's just an interesting thing to keep him in mind for the backstory that we're going to hear a little bit more about later in the game. So, all these locked doors. This is a really long hallway. It goes so far in a different direction than any other part of the mall. So it's like if you looked at this mall from the aerial view, it's like there would be this enormous long arm of the building that is just for this, because it doesn't seem to go alongside any of the stores or anything. I don't think I've been in a mall that was made that way in real life. But anyway, so we're just going in this back bathroom just to show that there was nowhere to go, because the only other door out of it was locked. So we go on down the long, wide hall that seems to go on forever without any doors even. So just that one, that was a long distance for that. Okay, so there's a corner. Oh, run away, run away. This was an incredibly surreal and nightmarish sequence. I love how they did that with the triple split screen. And, oh, just the screams, the sound effect, it really made me panic. It really hit me. Well done, Puppet Combo, well done. Okay, so we're going into the bathroom. I've never tried to just go all the way back. I bet that door would be locked, though. So I tried this stall. This is what I always go into, and it hasn't failed me yet. So I don't know. Here we have the instructions there. For me, the look button is, we just press the action button to observe the surroundings. And it's the right shoulder button on the PS4 controller anyway, to do the looking closer, which I rarely use. I just look around. But you can see how he's opening other stalls. I don't know if it's programmed into him to never open the stall you're in at this point, or if you actually could be found by him. The very first time I ever played the game, I accidentally exited the stall and got caught by him, and it took me immediately to the main game, so I missed out on the achievement for finishing this part. I meant to pause the game, and since that actually brings up the menu, and the menu button is the exit button, then yeah. But Though getting caught gets you an achievement too, so you want to do both at some point if you want to get all the achievements. But he's locked that door, so we can't go back the way we came. We'll never know what was around that corner. So, unfortunately. But now we can go this way. Just vending machines, nothing important in there. You don't know it yet? If you memorize it from a previous playthrough, I think you can just go on in there. So, but we're going to do it as though it was the first playthrough. This is locked. Oh, a profoundly creepy room. I hated this room on my first playthrough, and I didn't even know. Get this flashlight. You do want to get it now. One thing that I didn't even know was possible. Oh, see, path is blocked, but you can see the Easter Ripper. He's over there, right there on the other side through the door. And I didn't even realize that any of the times I played through. I was watching a playthrough later. I'm just running away because there is something else I need in that room, but he's in there and he will kill you. I didn't realize that until I watched another playthrough by Gab Smolders, where she got caught that way by trying to go back, and that was the first time I even realized that was possible. So it actually made it kind of retroactively creepier, because all that time I could have been caught by him and I didn't even know he was there coming for me. So alright, so we're opening up these shower curtains in the locker room and we see that there's something down there. If we check it though, we can't reach it. We don't have what we need to reach it because it was in the creepy room where the Easter Ripper was right there, apparently coming for us the whole time. Since I knew that this time, I panicked and ran on ahead because I knew that there was a way back. That door leads to this hall again, so we can go in there. I was actually, even though this wasn't the first time I'd played through, this was the first time I'd played through since knowing that he was in there. So I was scared going back in here. I didn't know if he would be still there. So remember to turn on your flashlight, which I didn't this time at first. You don't only equip it, you need to press a button to turn it on. On the PS4 button controller, it's the circle. So we get this screwdriver, which was actually right before we reached the end of the room. So I actually would have had time to go back and get it, but I panicked. The room is a little bit like a maze, so I just had to go back through. So yeah, if you forget the flashlight or the screwdriver on your first pass through that room, just go around the circle, go all the way around, and enter the room from the beginning again, because he despawns. So now we're going on to this shower stall here, and use your screwdriver. And we found ourselves a key. Now the key has a number on it, but the number would clearly not match the keypad. So this is the number, 1024. So use your tiny key. It says 1024, so there's nothing in it, but pay attention to those numbers, 5534. It's obvious what that's for. So we go back out into the hall. And we entered the key. We got the flyers. I just like to check everything when I play through games like this. I like flavor text. I like all of that it adds, so. Now this kid, he's a really polite kid to be worrying about being rude to take someone's lunch, the way he words that when his life is in danger, so I love it.
trying to kill me.
Whoa, calm down. How did you get in here?
I fell asleep and I got locked in. But that doesn't matter. The Easter Bunny has gone crazy. I'm not making it up. He's been chasing me. We have to call the police.
Hold on. There's a phone in here. Let me go check it out, and you wait here.
No, don't go. He's going to get you.
I'll take care of him. You'll be safe here. I'll lock the door.
And that's the Jacksepticeye cameo. Since this door clearly is locked now so that the kid can't get out, I feel like that was a really bad move. It's like, why would you lock the kid in a way that the kid can't get out if he needs to? Alright, so look out the window. You can actually look around the room. Nothing will happen while you're still looking out this time, but then look again. Just a glimpse. Yeah. Uh-oh. Turn off your light. You can see him there walking closer and closer and closer. But if you want to make it to the end, you have to hide under this desk. If you want to make it to the end of this segment. And the poor kid doesn't make it. We did everything we could though, so you get an achievement for that. So and we have a really nice retro title sequence. It definitely wouldn't be out of place in an actual 80s horror film. The music, the credits, everything. In general, Puppet Combo's really good at that. This is the only proper Puppet Combo game that was totally made by him that I've played all the way through, but I've seen some of the others, and I've played bits and pieces of the others, and they all have that kind of feel. So, it's really good. And I love this music. I love the theme. There's a sort of drama to it that it really fits the mood and the vibe, especially given the nature of this killer who was a child murderer and everything. There would be a kind of dramatic tragedy to it, and somehow this catches the horror and the drama, the tragedy. It's a really great piece of music, really. I like it. So I like this opening. It just really works. And now we are at present day 1988. So it's 3 years later after what we just witnessed. So, and played through. Now, one thing that's a little bit different here than a lot of the 80s slashers is a smaller cast, so a smaller body count. But some of the really early ones, like Halloween, were like that too.
Ew, this place? I can't believe I went from the news desk to this.
You're lucky you have this after the incident with the poodle.
That could have happened to anyone.
All right, let's get started. We don't have all day. the hell is the real estate agent? I gave him $50 to let us shoot this story. There's his car. Where the hell is he? Hey, intern. What's your name again?
Emma.
Yeah, Emma. Make yourself useful and find us a way in.
Now, the Dana character actually grows on you. I think so, because she's portrayed as high maintenance at first and maybe seems snobby, but the more you get to know her, you find out that she's actually a nice person. She just works this terrible job she hates for a guy that's not exactly the nicest guy, so...
Don't ask me. I'm just the camera guy.
Chop chop. We don't have all day.
It's so gross here.
One of the things I love about the game is that it explains why your stamina bar, which is a generous stamina bar, but still, in real life, you could probably run longer than that if your life was in danger. But by saying that she had an injury, it explains that. And I like that. Okay, the front door's locked. I also like about this the fact that, like some of the earlier slasher flicks, this one takes a while to build up. It doesn't go from beginning to end with a lot of kills after that opening sequence establishes it. We actually have time to build up the story. A lot of times we think of 80s slasher flicks just being filled from beginning to end with gruesome murder sequences, but a lot of the originators of the genre actually did take time to build a backstory, to build an interesting tale. It didn't dive straight into the murders. So this goes back to that, more in the vein of Halloween and everything. Anyway, I was mostly just looking around just now just to give a sense of realism and everything. So, exploration. We could see that there was a gun in the greenhouse, but we can't get to it, so there's some foreshadowing. So here at the back, there's this basement window, so we're gonna go in through there. Technically, they were always breaking into the house in a way, because it's clear that they're not supposed to be there and that even the real estate agent is breaking the rules, being bribed, kind of, to do this. Alright, so we're just exploring. This cabinet will be important later, but it's locked, so there's nothing we can do for it now. And here we have hints that we're gonna need hiding spots later, which we already know from the prologue, but for someone who started with the main part of the game, then you can tell that hiding is gonna be a part of the game's mechanic. This would be the first time that they would have a definite sense of that. Now, you can see that you can change to first person, like I said earlier, but I just don't prefer it. I prefer the cinematic look, the retro survival horror look. Going around. And it's too dark to really get around in there. You could walk in there, but it is actually easy to get lost. So, this dryer that's sealed. For some reason, she doesn't want to look inside. And the same thing for the washing machine. So we see a fuse box here. A fuse is missing. We will want to remember that for later. No flavor text for the bucket and mop there. The weird thing is, the basement Okay, this is me geeking out over houses. I love houses and layouts and maps on video games. The basement is the one part of the house that doesn't conform at all to a sense of reality. But anyway, here's a note from the real estate agent saying that someone broke in and stole the fuse. So the real estate agent clearly was here. He says that he left the front door open and we saw that it was locked. So that lets you know that something fishy is going on. But anyway, what I was saying about the basement, it actually, if you tried to map it out, you would find out that the basement doesn't match with everything else, which is kind of a classic. A lot of video games do that kind of thing, but it's just interesting. But anyway, looking around for more flavor text here. We've unlocked the back door. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that if you go out the back door and walk around, everybody acts like you never unlocked anything. They're still waiting around as if you still need to let them in. So, I don't know. I guess they're too lazy to walk around the house. So, let's go on. We see a hole in the floor in the corner with something shiny in it that we can't reach. We'll want to remember that for later. Covered table, another great hiding spot. At least that's what she says. I actually find that they don't work as well as some of the other hiding spots in the game, so... And it's kind of logical when you look at them. You try to go upstairs, and she just says that she needs to go out and let the others in. Which is another kind of
You got
entertaining,
in. Did you see
amusing
that
thing.
goddamn real estate agent?
No, the house is empty.
That bastard. I should have given you the $50.
Ew, it's musty.
Chop chop, it's time to hustle. Grab all the equipment in the van and get it in there. We're gonna set up.
It's interesting that she says that the real estate agent isn't in the house whenever we actually didn't check upstairs, so for all she knows, he could be there. But... Now, like I said before, Dana's a lot nicer to Emma later on. They play up the snobby element, but she's clearly more complex than that. She's unhappy at her job, she hates this job, but she's much nicer underneath all that than she seems initially. So it's an example of not character development, but a character being deeper and having more to them than you might think at first glance, and not judging the character at first glance. Because, yeah, she's actually a fairly nice person, just, you know, a little... she finds it hard, obviously, to hide her dissatisfaction in the conditions that even the character Emma, she's not having more fun with this job either. Just, she's a little bit more stoic about it. And not everybody's good at being stoic about the things that they're unhappy with. So that's Dana in a nutshell. But she's a nice character to people who are nice to her. At least that's what I can gather from this.
Every second of this.
And you'll see more examples of that later. Right now, she might just still
I
seem
want to
silly.
catch the game.
Meanwhile, we don't see any nice side of Gary throughout this whole game. So I like to think that everybody in real life has redeeming value, no matter how hidden. But this is fiction, so Gary's just kind of maybe what they would call the hate sink of the game, really. Okay, so we got the electricity isn't working, so the lights won't work.
What are you waiting around for? Turn on those lights and let's get rolling.
The power's out.
We'll turn it back on.
I don't know how.
She's just
Figure something out.
she's an intern. She's just, and he expects her to be an expert on everything. It's like, yeah. So let's explore around upstairs for a little bit. We've already explored enough of the basement to know that there wasn't anything we could find down there. Here's another hiding space, a locked door. As big as this room is, it looks like it was probably a master bedroom. So we will search through these drawers. I think there might have been something. I knew that there was the locked drawer, but I thought there might have been something else helpful in there, but there wasn't. So now we'll search through all these. This looks a lot more time consuming than it is, because only the top drawer is really divided into 3. They look like they all are, but yeah, that was only the top drawer. So we have a locked drawer both in that and in the other piece of furniture. So we'll remember that for later too. We can try this door, but it's locked. So let's go. This is another locked room. We see this. Looks like there's something behind it, but she can't move it by herself. We'll want to remember that. The first time I played the game, I actually thought that maybe that meant she would need help from another character, but a TV without power? A dresser that we can search, so let's go through a fuse. So that's what we need. Another hiding spot and a pencil. Now this is how you save your game, but it's a lot like the ink ribbons on Resident Evil. You can only save as long as you have pencils, but you can also only save if you're at the right place. Just like in Resident Evil, you can only save if you were at a typewriter. So we'll explore a little bit more of this. We're going to go up here. It's locked, solid iron. So now we know that the doorway to what at this point we can only assume is an attic is locked. So alright, so here we are at the fuse box. Well, let's put the fuse in. And now we've started the dryer up. But it's still sealed shut, so hard to tell what's in there. So let's go upstairs, ready to join the others.
Hey, the power's back on. Let's get started. All right, good. Everything set, Tom?
Yep. Lighting's ready. The camera's rolling.
Hey, Gary, I was thinking we could...
I don't pay you to think, Dana. I pay you to read the goddamn script.
I hate this job.
Is it any wonder she hates
Well,
this?
pull it together. Ready, everyone? All right. Action.
Anthony Smith, more commonly known as the Easter Ripper. The mere mention of his name sends shivers up the spines of parents across the country. His horrible murder spree leaving lives shattered and families ripped apart. Tonight we'll go inside his vacant home, where 11 innocent children spent their final moments in agonizing pain and terror. Untouched since those horrible crimes 8 years ago, some say his spirit still haunts the home till this day. I'm Dana Turner, and this is a News 9 special report. Silenced Tears, inside the home of serial killer Anthony Smith.
Cut! Let's take a break.
Gary, I think I want to redo the line where...
This isn't 60 Minutes, Dana. It's Channel fucking 9. We're not here to win a Pulitzer.
Fine. I'm going to find a place in this gross house to fix my makeup.
It's kind of interesting that the house would be untouched for all that time. And as we will find out later, that seems to be literally true. Even though you would think that they would have explored it more thoroughly, the police would have. But it's going to be kind of evident later that they must not have. So right now we're just wandering around the house to get more flavor and talk to the characters.
See what?
I just had a weird premonition. Gary and Dana were dead.
Huh?
Never mind. I probably sound crazy, don't I?
What do you think of this place?
It's fine, I guess. It's kind of spooky, though.
Yeah, now that you mention it. You better be careful. Let me know if anything suspicious happens.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
And so we just keep going down. Now my sound started to be really weird at this point, which I didn't notice until afterward, listening to the
is a great
recording of the
opportunity.
game.
Put
So
in a little extra effort, and you can really get ahead. If you know what I mean.
I hope
Okay,
I don't.
I'll keep that in mind.
Where the hell is Dana? I don't want to wait around all day!
You can hear hints of that happening already. So, after I open the basement door, which I'm going to do soon, right now we're just searching these drawers, another pencil. After I open the basement door, which I'm going to do soon, it actually is me re-recording this section. So, later on that's going to end up in discrepancy for the date of me saving the game and the date that it shows, because yeah, starting right now the sound got really bad, so this is now me re-recording for this section. So anyway, we're going down to the basement looking for Dana, whom we haven't found elsewhere, so here she is.
Hey, sweetie, I'm so thirsty from all that talking. Can you fetch me a glass of water?
Sure.
She asks nicely, really nicely. And compared to having to lug in the heavy luggage, it's not really too much to ask. Whatever bank or whatever owns this place must have been holding out a lot of confidence that people would buy it eventually, because they still have like the power and the water working, so they never switched those off, so in all these years, so so we gotta use the mug, actually. You can't just talk to her. So.
Thank you. Wait, did you wash this?
Now that's reasonable in a place like this.
Yes.
Oh, I just remembered.
something. Let's get rolling.
Alright, so...
We're putting people to sleep here with this boring story. Time to sex this up. Hey, you.
Me?
Yeah, you. Put this sheet on.
Because of the way he said that...
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I thought
Who's gonna
something
wanna watch
really
this
weird
boring
was
thing?
gonna happen when he
Live
talked
recording
about
isn't
putting a
helping.
sheet on.
I'm reading the teleprompter.
People want to see ghosts. Okay, intern. When Dana says he still haunts the home he grew up in, I want you to run through the background. Got it? All right, let's do this. Action.
The rampage started in late March 1979 when Smith walked into a local mall and took a seasonal position as an Easter bunny. A job meant to spread joy
I
and
use
cheer
this
put him in the
time
perfect
to
position to abduct
orient
young children
myself
until his
and know which way
capture and
I'm
execution
going,
in
which way what's what.
1985.
Yeah.
Many of the bodies have not been recovered. As told by the sole survivor, Randy Martinez,
Told you that name
Smith
would be important.
Release the children
Randy
in his
Martinez.
greenhouse and force them to go on a deadly Easter egg hunt while he stalked and murdered them. 2 years later, many say he still haunts the home he grew up in.
There we go.
What was that? Tom, did you get that? I apologize to the viewers at home, but I just felt an energy pass by behind me. Let's continue deeper into the house and see what secrets we uncover.
Cut. This is Ratings Gold. Let's take a break and pick up in the bedroom.
Ratings
Great
gold.
timing. I'm going to go use the restroom.
Hey,
Someone
you.
running
I'm
by
getting
on a
hungry.
sheet.
Take
With a
the
sheet.
van and go pick us up some pizzas. Use the station credit card.
Every time I play this game, I get hungry for pizza, and from several other Let's Plays of the game, it seems like it has that effect pretty commonly. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, you'll notice that the door transitions are on now. They weren't in the first parts of the video, but at some point I had turned them on, and so they were by the time I did the re-recording too, so I like them. They add a touch of classic survival horror. Okay, so she wants to explore more of the house and see what this key opens before she leaves. So we'll try it on this. It's a flimsy lock. So let's try the small key on it. And it works. This little closet under the stairs. And this is our save room. So we have a pencil. I'm not using one yet. I think you find a total of maybe 5 or 6 pencils in the game. I've never really kept count. But this flashlight, it's the same flashlight that we had in the mall earlier, so we know that that kid was brought back here. So I'm not using up a pencil yet. You can feel free to at this point if you want. You should be able to. So. And now she wants to check the dark places to see if there's anything else she missed, so.
Did you find anything juicy yet?
Not yet, but I think I'm onto something. This house is full of locked rooms. I think there's something hidden here that nobody knows about.
Good work. And don't mention this to anybody, especially Gary. He'll steal any story from us.
And see, Dana's treating us like an equal. Like we're working together to find this story. So we're just going up here just to talk to Gary since he's in this room. So just to experience all of the
What's taking so
options
long?
of the game.
I can't function on an empty stomach.
Sorry, I'm going to go soon.
Soon? Make it pronto. You know, this is a nice room. Let's film in here next.
And let's see, we're just going over here just to see that the TV's on now. So, again, a little foreshadowing that that might be an important thing later. Alright, so going back here in the dark. You can see a crowbar. Nothing else in this room but stacks of empty boxes. And a locked door. We can remember that the dryer was jammed, so let's try the crowbar on that. A doorknob. Now, there was a door upstairs on the first floor that did not have a knob. But first, just to show, we don't have the crowbar anymore, and if we had tried to use it, it wouldn't have worked anyway. So that is not the solution to the locked drawers. We will find that later. Getting darker, so let's use the doorknob. Now it can be opened. An Easter basket. And it is creepy when you know the backstory, so I may need to defend myself. It's interesting that she thinks that even though nothing's happened yet, but I guess when you're in a murder house, it makes sense to expect anything. Alright, so now we can go outside. Only to find it's all freakishly red from the lighting, so and now we have been invited on the deadly Easter egg hunt that we heard Dana talking about earlier, that he makes the kids go on. And the gate is locked. The flavor text there hasn't changed, so no sign of Dana. So let's rush upstairs to the last place where we did see somebody. Ooh. What was it? Just looked like a child running and vanished. The first time I saw anything like that, I figured maybe there was something to the haunted house thing.
Where are the pizzas?
There's something going on here. The van has been wrecked and the gate is locked.
Where's Tom?
He doesn't even comment on
No,
that.
I can't find him either.
Ugh, must be the goddamn real estate agent. I told you you'd get another $50 when we were done. Come out, you chicken shit.
Why would the real estate agent do that?
Damn
Yeah.
it, Gary. It's getting dark and this place is scary and gross. Can we finish this?
Fine. I don't know where the hell Tom is, so you're gonna have to hold the camera.
What? I don't know how to work this.
It's easy, just hold it steady. That's about it. Okay. Action.
This is Dana Turner on location. I've just been informed that we're stuck here. Someone has wrecked our van and we can't get our fucking pizza lunch promised by my producer. Is Anthony Smith, executed in the electric chair in 1985, back from the dead and back for revenge on anyone who enters his house? Find out soon if we don't get the fuck out of here.
God damn it, Dana. Cut.
I want my lunch. I can't work under these conditions.
Fine. We'll take a break. Hey, intern girl, see if you can find where the hell Tom is.
See, I can relate to this because if you got my heart set on pizza, then you take it away, I'd be grumpy.
Where the fuck is Tom?
I hate this stupid job.
Alright, so now we're gonna go on the hunt for Tom. If I'd been thinking to make it a little bit more realistic of a search, I probably would have gone through a few more rooms looking, but I know where he is, so... We're gonna go down to the basement. Question is he gonna be okay when we find him? I was worried at every point that I'd find something gruesome whenever I played this, so...
Tom, I didn't think I would find you. This is getting weird. Do you think the Easter Ripper is back?
It looks like we're stuck here. All the doors are locked. Look, I found a key, but I can't figure out what it opens.
Let me see.
You take it. Maybe you can find the door. I'm going to go look for another way out. I'll catch you later.
Large key. Definitely looked large on the screen, so that's a fitting description. Let's try it on this door just for the sake of it. But it doesn't work, so... We're just gonna head upstairs. Now, after I'm gonna save my game here, and after this point, I switch back to the original video, which I had already taken a break at this point. So the original video was on a different day too, so overall we have this in 3 different days, kind of out of sync with time. So went ahead and saved. Now you want to make sure that you save your game at that point, because if you exited without it, it would still use up the pencil just because you even entered the menu. Alright, so now we're back to a different recording after the door closes. So, but I think I made it pretty seamless. Oh, we hear the commotion.
Help me! There's somebody else in here! No!
She was nice. No. Rush up the stairs. Use the big key. I think I'm safe. Now that's your cue that this one time he will not follow you up there. That is not true through the rest of the game. This is not a safe room, unlike the room under the stairs. But this time it is. So, I'm just checking around, exploring all the flavor text the way that I always like to do. It says it's a normal light, but the fact that the camera changed should be your clue that that could be important later, so. Now we're checking around in these drawers. And we have ourselves a letter opener. Now, I intuited correctly, as it turns out, that this would be good for opening those locked drawers, for prying them open. So, let's go around the rooms that had locked drawers. First of all, there was this one. Now the thing is, the convenient thing, you can just go up to the piece of furniture and use it, and it'll automatically use it on the drawer that's locked. So you don't have to go through searching through all the individual drawers again, assuming you've already looked through the unlocked ones, because it'll automatically go to that. A gun! So we can check out the gun. We can see that it's not fully loaded. Now, I do not recommend using that gun at all just to escape from the killer. Oh look, Dana. An Easter egg shoved into her mouth, so we will take that egg. But yeah, don't use the gun because you will want to have that ammo at a point in the game when it can actually be permanently useful. You don't want to use up the ammo now. So let's go into here. And now the Easter basket takes on a whole new meaning for us, since we know we're in this macabre egg hunt. So go ahead and put the egg there. Start storing the eggs in the basket. Okay, so there was a locked drawer over here, so we'll use that. And it's a first aid kit. That is one of the only 2 healing items in the entire game. And whenever you take damage from the killer, the damage is permanent unless you heal it. I know that sometimes games like this, like the Clock Tower video games, your health recovers naturally with time, although it's not exactly health in those because you can't usually take an injury and live at all, but still it's you recover. Alright, so now here on this, the first drawer we ever saw in this part of the game, we had a magnet, so we can go upstairs. You'll remember that there was a hole in the floor with something shiny that we couldn't reach, so sounds like a job for the magnet, right? So let's go into the living room, or the dining room, I guess this probably would have been. Go into the corner. Use the magnet. Looks like a key. Alright, so let's head upstairs. We know that there were locked doors still there that we hadn't yet explored. Ah! That's random, by the way. That's not something that always happens. He just happened to come out the door that time. Alright, so I don't want to hide up here. I don't trust the hiding spot. So I come over here and try to loop him around. You want, as much as possible when you're running from the Easter Ripper, to try to take him to places where you can lead him around. I'm unlocking this, and I was hoping against hope that the fact that there's a cutscene in here would interrupt him. And it does. I read the note, but it really doesn't make sense to read it right now when the killer was right after me, so I rushed through it and I'll read it again later.
Dana is dead. Help me find an exit.
Our second victim. That was a really well-executed scare, because since his shirt is a similar color to the Easter Ripper's costume when he first walks in the door, you could think that that's the Easter Ripper. And I especially would have thought that if on my first playthrough I had actually been running from him. So we come around here and we see the black light. And I'm hiding just because he was just after me a few minutes ago, so... but the music went away, so usually once the music goes away, the creepy music... So now we're looking at the note, and it's a note by one of the kids who was trapped here. The child talks about hearing adults arguing and being sad. Shouting and crying a lot, but not being the kid's parents, so... That's a mystery for later. Who could those adults be that the kid heard crying? And why were they shouting? Why were they sad? So there are implications that you kind of have to just read between the lines and remember that later in order to kind of have an idea of it. The game doesn't spoon feed you that, so that's a cool thing. Alright, so we're going up to the attic because we remember that light bulb, don't we? And now we have a black light, so let's go over here. Did that reveal anything? Well, let's look around and see. Yes, it did. Blood leading under that. So we've moved that, and now we see a dumbwaiter, and we're writing it down, seeing how far down it goes. Clearly all the way down to the basement. This door is locked to the right of us. Didn't mean to unlock that, but I did. Those were torture instruments hanging on the wall. Very disturbing. Alright, so we're gonna use the letter opener again to open this. We're gonna go to the menu and use those to reload the gun so that it's full when we need it. Alright, so now we've unlocked this. All these hints as to what the Easter Ripper was really up to. It's goes beyond just the killing. There was torture, everything. So you want to maybe even take a picture of this with your phone or whatever, because you want to remember that those numbers. It said that was important as a song to be remembered. So remember those numbers. Alright, so now we're going into another room to see what kind of tragic horrors we see here, so... Yeah. So we take the rope. She apologizes for taking it, but I understand not wanting to disturb it, but the rope was clearly used in some horrible way, so... I think it's almost more honoring the poor victim to remove the rope than to leave it there. Dying from the cold. And now we have this story about the Easter Bunny hiding razor blades in the chocolate eggs that he fed the kids. So yeah, this is the secret torture dungeon of the Easter Ripper. You can't go back up the dumbwaiter, So we have to go through this door, which leads us to the rest of the basement where we've been before. Now you can see what I meant about how it's obvious that the police really didn't search this place, and they knew that this had happened, but it's clear that they never opened that door that was blatantly there. It wasn't even a secret door that was hidden. So it's kind of weird when you think about it that's part of the backstory. So now we see this recording, this camcorder on the floor, and we'll take the tape because it's clear that Tom dropped that. So this can give us a hint of what happened to him. Uh-oh, red lighting. You actually, yeah, it feels like somebody's holding the door shut, so we actually can't go into that room. Writing on the walls. Weird laughter. All these little signs between the ghosts and nightmare sequences that there's something more surreal here than just physical murder. So this is another good time to save the game. And yes, like I said before, that's going to be an earlier date than the last time because I had to go back and re-record an earlier section. So alright, so we have that rope and we have a videotape. So both of those are going to be used in the same room. So alright, so let's use the videotape and see what happened to Tom.
Hello? Is anyone there? I hear you. Come out.
So we can see that he put something in the piano, so that gives us a hint. But since we're up here right now, we're gonna go up to this, the thing we couldn't move, and we're gonna see if the rope helps, and it does. You have to think that the killer heard that. I definitely worried about that, so I went into that really fast. Now, the very first time I ever played this, the killer was actually right there in front of that door, just exiting it, so that added even more tension. Okay, so I also just got the band-aids. That is the second and last healing item you get in the entire game. That's what I just got out of that medicine cabinet. So you definitely want to get that just in case you need it, because again, in this game, injuries are permanent as far as I can figure, so you want all the healing items you can get. And there are only 2, so. Nothing much else really in these, well, nothing really in all these cabinets and drawers, but pays to be thorough, so. We take the egg, and it shocks nobody. We saw from a mile away that the real estate agent was dead, right? So that other door led to the bedroom where we filmed earlier, but we're going out this one into the hallway. And since we are on a gruesome egg hunt, let's go over here where Gary died to see if we can find something there. And sure enough, now he's hanging up, the body is, so let's take the egg. And now we have one more egg to get, since we've seen the pattern of one egg per dead person. So we saw that video of Tom dying near the piano, so let's check out what the Easter Ripper put in there. Pretty safe bet, huh? Now, remember the note with the numbers. There are, counting the black keys, in the highlighted keys there are 12 keys, so just go in order of the numbers. Old MacDonald had a farm. Alright, so yeah, let's get the egg. And now we put all the eggs in. This is all the eggs we've found, so is there anything I haven't checked? Well, by this point in time, it makes logical sense to try the outside door. So, I do, but of course it's locked. So the only door that now remains is in the basement. But first, save. Definitely save at this point. This is the last chance you're gonna have to save the game in the whole game. So and now you'll remember that in the torture hall, the hall with all of the different torture rooms and prison rooms, there was a locked door. So we're gonna go there simply because it is the only thing left. So let's head down. Kind of a creepy trek, because it's like, am I gonna run into him or not? That's what was on my mind. And but still really close. And again, this was random. This was not scripted. So yeah, it's too perfect though, because it's like the final climactic chase before I get to go where I need to go. I wish to keep it more cinematic. I had allowed him to get into the rooms, though. I stayed so far ahead of him that it didn't show the cinematic, climactic value that it could, so. But yeah, it was good, though, to remember that this dumbwaiter was up here, because you can still go up and get to that, so. I was glad that there were more than one way to get there. There it is, it's open. Long, narrow, twisting hall. Kinda creepy, because if he does show up, it's so narrow. Would bring us back to mind of the long hall in the mall. So we see a ladder. And now we're finally in the greenhouse that we saw earlier, so. But the gates are locked. So. Well, remember that there was a gun in here, so let's get this. A shotgun! So, let's go ahead and equip the shotgun. I think it's a lot better to start out with the shotgun for what we're there. But remember, you have 4 bullets. 4 shells. Now let's try to go out. And here's the reveal.
Tom?
That's right. It was quiet. Innocent Tom. harmless. Walk all over him, Tom. Mama's boy, Tom. Well, I did. I killed them all.
But why?
To avenge my brother. Anthony wasn't the Easter Ripper. I was. He turned himself in to save me. I thought I could control the urge to kill, but it's back. And now, I'm going to kill you!
Alright, so the secret has been revealed. Now, run around, but constantly stop running for a second or two so that you don't run out your stamina. And if you press the aim button, she'll automatically aim at him, so just pressing fire will automatically shoot him as long as you have a clear shot. Only shoot him once at a time and then immediately turn around and keep running so that he won't have time to close in and strike you. Alright, that's my third shot with the shotgun. You need to keep tabs on that. And my fourth. So I'm out of shotgun bullets. I need to change to the pistol. So let him get close enough to start attacking, and that slows him down. And then go to your menu and get the handgun as fast as you can. And then just keep doing the same thing. If you've done it this way, you will not run out of bullets before you strike him down. And that's why we use the shotgun first, because with the pistol, you would run out of bullets, and if you didn't keep a close count on it, you might accidentally cause her to start reloading, which leaves you as a sitting duck. So there he is. There we have it. Trying to go out. Uh-oh.
You can't kill me. I'm the Easter Ripper!
Looks like all the ghosts we've seen were relevant. There is something supernatural going on after all. And congratulations, we have survived to the end. So now it makes sense, it should make sense. If you had noticed earlier, this was only 3 years after the opening, but they said that Anthony Smith had been apprehended like 8 years before the beginning of the main game, and it was because his brother was actually the real killer. Which does leave some questions, like why did no one know that Tom, the camera guy, was the brother of this infamous killer and things like that. But that goes with the territory. A lot of times these old 80s movies and things, they would have some plot tensions, maybe not plot holes, maybe there are ways to figure out why, but it's just not explained, so there you go. But yeah, this is there's more to come actually, that was added on later. So, since I played the game more recently, you are gonna see that here. The more that there is to the game. But this is the main thing. You've made it through all the parts that would really require any kind of walkthrough, which really, honestly, this is just, I like the game, so I wanted to make this. It's a fairly easy game to figure out everything. It's not really hard to do or to follow, so the walkthrough, maybe not all that necessary, but it gave me a chance to make a video like this, so it was fun. I like this music too. Oh, and by the way, the implication is it was Anthony and Tom arguing that the little kid in the note heard when he heard the sad adults, because Anthony wanted to protect his brother. And it seems that Tom, for as murderous as he was, genuinely loved Anthony too, or cared about him at least in some way, since he wanted to avenge him. So they were the adults having the sad argument. And adds a little bit of depth to the game, a little bit of texture to the game's backstory, knowing this. And it humanizes these characters, Anthony, whom we never actually meet, and Tom, even though he is obviously psychotic and murderous, it gives him some humanity too. It lets you know that there was care, even though he clearly let his brother take the fall, but he clearly had issues, so... I would like to see this actually made into a movie, really. I think that would be pretty cool to see a movie made of this. The game itself does function well as a movie already, just as a game. It's cinematic, like I said, it flows about the same. The length of the game is about movie length, but still, I would like to see how it would work as a movie, because I think there's some good material for that, in a way. Retro throwback movie.
Cut. Brilliant. Congratulations, guys. That's a wrap.
A wrap? That ending doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's a wrap anyways, because our house rental ends tomorrow.
Okay, so now we're playing through this portion of the game, the bonus.
The clapper is my job. All day. Clap, clap, clap.
This was not
enough to drive you crazy.
Originally a part of the game, so now we find out it's
now?
all a movie that was being made. Speaking of how this would be a good movie, so, alright, let's go.
I like turtles.
Nice reference there.
Can't wait to get out of this sticky soup.
A lot of the names have changed, like a lot of the people are clearly not named the same as their actors, but the little kid from the beginning really is named Justin in this fictional, universe.
What do you think?
I think it's stupid.
Hey, how would I know Nick would skip town 2 days before we wrapped up the shoot?
But Tom? He's not even tall enough to be the killer.
Don't worry about it. No one's going to notice.
I would hate to have to edit this piece of shit.
This director is a lot nicer than the fictional news boss in the in-story movie they were making. So, speaking of the
What's wrong with
news
you?
boss, here's his actor.
Pizzas.
How many did you eat?
More pizza.
3.
Slices?
No, pizzas.
I could see myself doing that.
Not much left to do since I died.
Well, good news then. It's over.
Ugh, thank God. Maybe someone could give me a ride into town off this hell set.
You know people really got killed in this house.
That's just a rumor. Ugh, I need a hot shower after this sleazy picture.
Okay, maybe I couldn't eat 3 whole pizzas easily, but I think I could do it all in a day. Like, maybe not in one sitting, but in a whole 24-hour day, or a day from the time I woke up to when I went to sleep. I probably could, depending on the size of the pizzas. Maybe not one of those huge specialty pizzas, but...
Any more pizza?
Nah, your buddy Dan finished it up.
I'm starving.
There's plenty of gelatin salad.
Yeah, I'll think about that.
It's not that bad.
That's the takeaway from it. You can take that mug, but it doesn't do any good. So, but yeah, that's the takeaway from the game. Everybody wants pizza. It's gonna make you hungry for pizza if you like it at all. There are the rare mythical people who don't like pizza.
Weird what happened to Nick, huh?
Who?
The guy who played the Easter Ripper?
Oh, that guy? He was a weirdo. He didn't say anything to me the whole shoot. Did you guys have to ruin all of these costumes?
So we have a little bit of a story outside of the main story. And this story, there's the mystery of this Nick character who originally was playing the Easter Ripper. There is the question though, if Tom was not tall enough to play the Easter Ripper, then in universe here where he's playing how are they, like, what is he on stilts in that suit? Because he's clearly taller than the Tom character model, so this prop is so convincing. She won't interact with the prop of Dana, though. The neat thing about this is, other than the save room, where she'll keep saying, I don't need to save anymore, you can explore the whole house now without any danger. Like, this is just, you know, there is no killer stalking you right now, so you can just go through the whole house. I'm not going through the whole house at this point, because a lot of it's not relevant, but you can. Got one more person to meet that we're aware of anyway currently, and it's the actress that played Dana.
What are you doing?
Rehearsing for my next role.
What's that?
Bikini Babes on Werewolf Planet. I play Queen Zion.
Eyebrow.
Exciting.
Want to help with the part?
Sure. Queen Zion. We caught the Bikini Babes sneaking into the palace.
Well, what do you have to say for yourselves?
We didn't mean to. We don't even know how we got onto this planet.
Silence! You think I'm a fool? Take their bikinis. Bikini babes. You'll have to settle for just babes.
The horror!
What do you think?
You were great.
This one's my big break. I can feel it.
Alright, so now we've met all the different actors that were on set with us. Except we don't have our keys, so now we need to find those. Except the actor for Janitor Jack, the Jacksepticeye cameo. That actor is not on this set. So right now I'm just, I'm going upstairs because if we go down to the basement this way, there's a neat glitch that reliably happens so far. Maybe by the time you see this video, it will have been patched. But anytime we go down this way at this point, this glitch happens, so.
Skeleton?
See?
Real sick.
Double.
Thank you. It took me so long to pose them.
And then it's over. So,
I have so much to do down here.
you can see the keys on the floor behind him. So, ready to go upstairs? No one here. So let's go out back. They're all gone too. Is something going on?
Let's party!
Nope, just a party. Everybody gathered in one room for the party. I actually missed this my first playthrough. Like, I went around out back and just assumed everybody was maybe dead or something, so.
I like turtles.
A lot of the people say the same stuff, but
We're finally free. We're shooting ever.
some of them say something different.
Did you guys have to ruin all of these costumes?
I think I ate too much of the gelatin salad.
All that hard work finally paid off.
I shot about 30 slasher movies this year. Maybe it's time to retire.
I'm too tired to dance from holding the mic all the time.
And yet she's dancing with a passion. I wonder what she dances like when she's not too tired to dance. So, alright, so now we've pretty much explored all of that. So, let's use our keys. You can already see a glimpse that something's not right. So that's it. So the question is Nick a real killer about to ambush Sarah? Or is Sarah, the actress, a killer who killed Nick and has stuffed his corpse in her trunk? And that's the question I'll leave you with.